This episode of the Restoration Today podcast is brought to you by Protometer. Don't let hidden moisture ruin your project or professional job. With Protometer, you get fast, reliable readings every single time. Built tough for surveyors, restorers, and inspectors who can't afford guesswork. Visit protometer.com to find the right tool for you. Hey restorers, welcome to a fresh episode of the Restoration Today podcast. I have the Chief Revenue Officer of a brand that I'm guessing you have probably heard of in recent months. They are growing like wildfire in the restoration industry. It is LiveSwitch. I'm joined by James Hatfield. I'm very excited to have him here. I mean, we've been getting press releases from them pretty nonstop, which is awesome. You're an RA Affinity partner. You're working with Core, some of the other software companies I know that you've integrated with. So moving really fast into the space, which is really exciting. Restoration is typically always a little behind the eight ball on technology. So it's always fun to see players come into the space that are really helping move the needle forward and solve some of the challenges that restorers face every day. So James, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, and I left out that you're a CNR contributor and that you've written for CNR in the last few months as well. I forgot that tidbit. So you can find his article on flash flooding and using technology during kind of CAT events, which is a big topic. And hopefully we get, well, hopefully, maybe not. Hopefully we get some hurricanes soon. So I know it's like maybe not, but
I'm a little hurricaned out, Michelle. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. So if I never saw another one in my life, I'm good with that. Although it's not good for business, right? So I get
I
it.
know it's such a weird part of being in the restoration industry and also living in Asheville. You should be safe from hurricanes.
We should be. One would think, but we're not, I guess.
One would think.
Whatever. You guys, restoration, come on down. We got
That's
plenty of room
right.
for you.
We'll have to talk some about your experience with that somewhere in this podcast, but go ahead and introduce yourself, share a little bit about your background. I know you've kind of been in different companies before landing at LiveSwitch, and then talk about LiveSwitch, what it
Yeah,
is.
sounds great. So I'm not your typical tech nerd. I used to run contracting companies. I had multiple companies, multiple crews. I know what it is to be on residential and commercial properties, making sure those customers are happy. I know what it is to deal with crews. I know what it is to deal with callbacks. I've been there, I've done that, and I got the t-shirt, and I never thought I would leave. The only reason I left is because when I went to the accountant and the bookkeeper, they would speak English, and I'm like, I don't understand what they're saying to me. I'm good with my hands, but I wasn't good with the numbers.
Yep.
So went back to business school. Upon doing that, met my partner who we worked together here at LiveSwitch. She used to run landscaping companies. So we are contractors at heart. And we are disrupting a lot of things. We just finished disrupting financial technology. We took a company from nothing to Inc. 500. We were one of the fastest growing companies in the country. And we exited with KKR. It's a multi-billion-dollar company now. So that worked out. And then we purchased this company 5 years ago, and we're trying to do it again. And we're moving quick in restoration, as Michelle said. So excited to be here, excited to talk a little technology, maybe a little AI, little things we can do, a little bit of this and that. But Michelle, I'll put it back to you. And I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Okay, so give the listeners a little bit of a taste of what LiveSwitch is, especially like the root of the problem. What problem were you seeing even like before 5 years ago as you were going into buying it or starting to run it? What problem were you seeing? What problem are you hoping to solve with LiveSwitch?
Yeah, well, I wasn't trying to help restoration at all. In fact, what we were doing is we got a knock on the door from the chief of police in Washington, D.C. to reinvent our nation's 911 phone call. We're one of only a few companies in the world that do live video. We've been doing it for a long time. You've seen our stuff. We did the Super Bowl last 3 years, like go to MLB ballpark and scan a QR code. They put you on the Jumbotron. That's our stuff. But the chief wanted to find a way to tap into everyone's camera now that we have about 4 or 5 of them in our pocket, but do it in a way that a compromised citizen who can't download anything, they can't be trained. But if we can get into that camera and we can stream what that citizen is seeing to the police car, they know what they're driving into. It's called situational awareness. The question was, well, who else can use this? You see what I see technology. And it reminded me of my Nextel walkie-talkies I used to use
Oh
back in
yeah.
the day. I don't know what happened to those things, but I couldn't live without them way back when. But now I'm like, this is the Nextel with our eyes. And so that is what's been happening for our restoration companies, right? Because we get calls in the middle of the night when we're sleeping in our bed and someone thinks it's DEFCON 5 over there and they want my whole cavalry to come out. And I'm like, yeah, that's just the toilet. We're going to see that in the morning.
Yeah.
Or my favorite one is someone calls at 10 and it's no big deal. And then you get over there and like, yeah, you've got like 6 inches of water in your basement. So
Yep.
if we can see what the customer is seeing, my team is prepared, I know what I'm getting into, or I know that can wait. And so Then we wrap it all in AI and all kinds of stuff. And we'll talk about that as well because it's pretty exciting. But at the core and at the heart was like, let me see what you see before I hop in my truck and drive all the way out to see you.
Okay, so does the technology live by itself? Like, can contractors use it exclusively on its own? Does it need to tie into their job management platform or their moisture monitor? How does it work?
Yep. It can go anywhere. You can go
Okay.
directly through LiveSwitch or you can go from your current whatever you're using. We all use tons of stuff. I know in
Yeah.
restoration, you guys are technology inundated, right? So my heart goes
Yes.
out to you. But the nice thing is we can meet you where you're at. You don't have to come to LiveSwitch and you can use it right through the platforms you're already using. Our customers love that. But if you're small, just getting started, maybe you don't have those, you can use LiveSwitch Direct. We don't have any apps. There's nothing to download. Everything just sits right on top of what you have. And you're literally, if you know how to send a text, you can use our stuff. You're going to be ready to use our stuff in 5 minutes or less. You're not going back to a university for technology, which I know that's relieving. And but having had the cruise, right? My guys loved one-click technology, the Nextel, one click, the
Yep.
truck, one, well, back in the day, turn the key, one pull of the power washer. We like simple stuff. And everyone's like, oh, you guys are the knuckle draggers of technology. I'm like, no, we're not. We're not. You just over engineer stuff. You've never been on a ladder. You've never been in the basement. You've never done what we've done. So coders, we love you. I don't want to code, but I'm going to tell you, if you build something for me and my crew, you better make it dang easy because that's what we like to do.
I like that. And yes, there are a lot, we are technology overrun almost a little bit. Everybody trying to solve problems, which is great. We're gonna get there. So okay, talk about, let's kind of put this into action at this point. So in your article, you talked about how to use technology when there is like maybe a localized weather event, or it could be a cat event. In Asheville, it really was a localized cat event, I guess.
Hmm.
So, talk about the bottleneck. You talked about the bottleneck being the first call that comes in. So, how can technology help contractors overcome that bottleneck so they can serve more people in their community when something like Asheville happens?
Yeah. So when there's a big surge, look, I know how it goes. So let's just pull back the curtain from Wizard of Oz, right? What we want as contractors and restoration are the best jobs
Yep.
when that surge happens, right? I'd love to serve everybody, but I can't,
Yep.
right? I really can't. But the ones I want to serve, I also have a business to take care of. I've got mouths to feed. I'm not a nonprofit. I'm unapologetically for profit, but we do good work. So
Yep.
when that surge comes in, now what you're doing is sending text as people reach out. You just send a text. You don't have to have a single person on the other end. And what you do is you say, hey, person, can you go ahead and just take a quick video of the issue? So what they're doing, they're getting a text, they tap it, they don't download any app, and it asks them to either record a video, take photos, or if they already have stuff on their phone, upload it. All right. But let's say they have to take a video, they hit record, they walk around, they say what's going on, your team gets a ping, your team can watch it even at 2x speed, and they can determine, ooh, that one looks pretty good. So you're going to prioritize, after you get the surge, you prioritize the top ones you want, you call them back, send them a text, see what's going on. And the good news is this stuff even works with crap and no internet. So when that surge happens and things go out, when that person gets a text, it can load in their browser. And even when they get 3G, which is the worst internet, it can still upload. You can still see it. And if you're sending teams from another state, you're sending a tethered team. Now, before you're driving states away, you already see what you're driving into. You're picking those best jobs, and then you're on property doing the work. So it's a little bit of knowing what's going on behind
Yep.
the curtain, and it's a little bit of knowing like, hey, there's a surge. So you gotta be thinking ahead like that. So I think this is a modern way to attack a problem that's gets us a bit overwhelmed at times because we hate driving out to one of those sites where, dang it, I drove all the way out. And in fact, these people don't even have insurance.
Oh, that happens a lot as well. That's going to be a
Yep.
Florida problem with the next big hurricane that comes through, but
Mhm.
that's for a whole other podcast. Won't even go there. Okay, so talk a little bit about, touching on what you were just talking about getting the homeowner or property owner to kind of take some video or pictures or whatever that may be. What do you tell contractors who say, well, I want that human touch point. I don't want to lose that. Am I going to lose customers if I'm sending them a link and they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get out my phone. How do I know my stuff's safe? All of these kind of concerns that people have now. What's kind of the response to that? And are consumers used to now this just kind of being the way that things are?
Right. So in the example we gave of the surge, you don't have time to put enough human connection. You're snowed, right? But in a normal state, right, when you do have a little bit more time, dispatch sales, well, what our technology is doing when it sends a text, this other one allows your human connection. So when we send a text, a person taps it, and I immediately see what they want to see. So if it's 10 o'clock at night and I've got to hop out my bed, now I get to connect with them. And the
Okay.
thing about restoration is you're dealing with someone who's dealing with loss.
Yeah.
So they need a little bit of that virtual hug at first, right?
Yes.
Like, sorry you burnt the kitchen down. I know your spouse is pissed. I'm not pissed. I've seen this before. We do this all the time. I've had people have grease fires, not a big deal, right? Now I can see it, no problem. Tell me what's going on. Tell me about your insurance. Tell me about this. And this is going to take an entire everything gets recorded. You're taking remote photos, remote videos. You can share that with insurance. You can share that with the crew. You can even run it through AI and say, AI, show me how to do smoke remediation on this kitchen. And it will tell you. I mean, the AI totally fixed my HVAC unit the other week. It got it. And the guy that came over, the tech, he was like, his jaw was on the floor, my jaw was on the floor, and then he goes, "Can I buy stock in your company?" So, because it was spot on. So now you can do. I had a mold remediation. I had a restoration company in my house doing mold remediation, and he used it, and it told him the entire remediation plan from AI. He was so blown away. The next day, he's like, "I got to have it. I can't stop thinking about you." I think this is why you're seeing us grow so fast.
Yeah.
It's because it's a co-pilot. It's not a replacement. Everyone's scared of AI. You know what? In home services, you're safe. You're very safe. AI is not going to come and do the mold remediation, the
No.
kitchen fires. It's not. But what we are going to do is use AI as my Iron Man suit because that's Jarvis. And you want Jarvis on your side because you can do things faster, like CRM entries, which we all just don't we love writing in the CRM? No, we
No.
don't. We hate it. So
Yes.
have AI do that part. Have AI do the things you hate, but you still need to do them.
Things you hate. Um, okay, so then there's this other section of restorers that are very AI suspicious. We just finished our state of the industry pulse check, and the industry is getting warmer to the idea, but there's still concerns of like, ooh, sometimes AI is pulling the wrong S500 quote, or that doesn't exist, or they're telling my people the wrong things. And I also don't want some of my information in the world of AI, whatever that may be. So, what are kind of some of the safeguards in place for like, okay, you're going to use this technology. I promise you, well, maybe you don't want to say I promise, but it's probably not going to tell you the wrong thing. This is seasoned and trained enough that it's going to give good information.
Well, here's the thing: you should be suspicious of AI.
You should.
I'm an AI, I'm in AI, and here I'm telling you about it.
Yeah.
There's a reason we still need your expertise,
Yes.
right? You're not here to be replaced. I want you to think of AI as your co-pilot, not the pilot. If you let AI be the pilot, you're going to crash the plane, guaranteed, right? But having a good co-pilot is also when I forget stuff. Like I forget to write stuff in my CRM. I don't speak Spanish and I could let AI convert everything to Spanish if needed to my customer, right? Especially if I'm in Florida, a lot of my customers are Spanish speaking people.
Yep.
I also want to communicate to my team. I might be the expert, but I can talk to the AI. I can have it document everything and then I can transfer it to the next person, right? Or show it to insurance or fill in the blank, use it as training, right? Because all this stuff is being recorded. It's not just a written word, it's a video as well. I don't know about you, but when I have trouble at home, what's the first site I go to? YouTube and ChatGPT. So
Yes.
what if you had YouTube and ChatGPT come together and have a baby? That's LiveSwitch.
Yes.
Okay. So we're bringing those two things together. So now my new trainees can watch a video. I can have it document my process. If I ever want to exit my business, everything being my process is documented, having everything recorded. You're also making your business more valuable when you go to sell it. So all these things kind of wrap together. But if you're super suspicious, this stuff is also SOC 2 certified. What the heck does that mean? SOC 2 certified means we had to get that because the Department of Defense uses our stuff. Our
Okay.
stuff is so when someone calls you on the phone and then you want to transfer to video, you can let them know, hey, we go to video, it's safer than this phone call because the phone call is ancient technology, which is why the phone on your phone is the worst part of your phone and it's not as secure. Just throwing it out there in case you trust the phone
Oh,
or you trust the video. Truth is is what we need, right? So I'm just here to tell you what's really
yeah.
going on. And when we get approached by different governments around the world, okay. So as far as safety goes, we have to be extremely safe because we're also recording things as well. So we got to get audited and we got to have all the certifications, but it's part of the gig. And so that's what we've had to do.
Part of the gig. So, what kind of technology do you feel is going to go from? There's a lot of different pieces of technology that we've talked about in here. What's going to make the shift from the it's kind of nice to have right now to, a year or two? I'm not even going to say 2 or 3 years from now, but like a year or two even from now, you better have that or you're going to get left behind in restoration.
It's already here. It's already knocking at your door. It's
Yep.
arrived. There's a reason why we're one of the fastest growing software in the country right now, because it has arrived today, right? So when does it stick? I'll tell you when it sticks. At 2 in the morning when it's DEF CON 5 and the person's like, you got to come over here right now. And then you look at it and you're like, nope. And you go back in the bed
Yep.
and it changed. You get a full night's sleep.
Yeah.
It gets real sticky then, right? Or it's a smaller job that you still want to win and you didn't have to drive in your truck out there and you still win it and award it. And then you send your person out there and you get paid. Like, wow, I didn't have, or a callback. Hey, I thought you were going to do this. My favorite is now you're going to have the NFL instant replay in your business. So when the customer calls back and said, hey, I know you came and you fixed the leak the other day, but your guys left a bunch of marks on my wall. And you're like, let me go back and look at that. You look at it and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, sorry about the marks at the wall, but we weren't even on the property. And I have a video of the marks on the wall. So we can refer you to a painter, but that's not me today. So those things start to compound to the place where you're like, I think I got to have this stuff. And it's on the doorstep. We're not talking about Tomorrowland. This is Todayland, and this is who you compete against. And Michelle and I are just getting warmed up because we haven't even talked about everything going on. So these are things to be thinking about. Not trying to scare you, just trying to give you some, a little more information to get your wheels spinning.
I totally agree. I was at a conference last week, and part of what I was talking about was AI. And there were some people in the room. I was using the example of, hey, I know multiple restoration companies that have gotten large commercial jobs off of ChatGPT referrals and searches. So if you are not paying attention to how you are showing up in different places, it's just things are changing so much, and AI is changing the way everything is done. So I got to be paying
That's
attention.
a great point. And to add to that, how do you compete in ChatGPT land? ChatGPT land, what they're doing is they're going to your website and they're crawling the whole thing. And you know what they're looking for? Real photos and real videos. How do you get those real photos and real videos? Doing what we've been talking about today. You can download everything, every recorded thing. You can put that on your socials. You can put that on your websites. You can do all kinds of things because once they see live videos, they see real photos, they see real reviews from customers, they see you're active. ChatGPT is actually trying to serve up awesome information because it wants people to come back. If
Yeah.
ChatGPT served up crap information, they don't have recurring revenue, and
Yeah.
neither do you because you need to do a good job too. So it all kind of works together. If ChatGPT starts bringing you a bunch of money, I bet you start fearing AI a little less. You're like,
Yes,
it's my number one
that
sales guy.
is exactly right. Okay, so one, this is a little bit getting into the weeds question, but touching on what you were just talking about of like, okay, you have this video and you have these photos in your library, then do you have, is the property owner essentially giving you permission to use their stuff once they say, yeah, you can record, you can use our photos, and then it does belong to the contractor and they can use it however they see fit?
Correct. There are right before somebody is on camera, it has a bunch of safety. You got to say yes and join, right? So and this is even baked into Google, Apple. We're trying to do things the right way. Although we can also, in addition, if someone calls back, you can't have recordings of all of it. You can delete it all.
Okay.
So you can take care of your customer and just do the right thing. But we're going through all the models to make sure everybody's safe here, but also to be able to see what's going on after someone just had an event at their home.
Yeah.
You know, they're just wanting someone to come out and fix the dang thing as fast as possible.
Yes. So, talk about, let's advance this forward a little bit. A lot of what we've talked about so far is pre loss or right up to that first call or maybe that first visit. So, talk about how technology plays into efficiency for the rest of the claim process. How can you use it to really expedite the claim and get paid faster? That's probably like, that is the biggest pain point in the industry right now is getting paid faster. It's taking forever. So, talk through that a little bit.
Transparency gets you money, right? So when I get on property, now that I've won the job, I'm going to take my phone out of my pocket again and start doing a pre-walk around, right? Talking about everything. Again, I'm going to put that through AI as my co-pilot. I'm going to send that to my subcontractors if it's needed, and I'm sending it to the insurance company because here's video. Pictures worth 1,000 words, videos worth 10,000, right? And then you can have the entire transcript right off the video as well. So you start putting all these pieces together. You can even hang a QR code on property. All right. A lot of our restoration companies will hang a QR code on property right when they get on. And this is for anyone in their crew or the customer, and they can scan that anytime and take their own video, which gets added to the project. And in the project, you can see the whole project view and you can see the progression of everything. So when before you put the drywall back up, before you cover things up, take that video, do the daily walk around, document everything. And all it is clicking one button or scanning the QR code and going to town. And then you're leaving that QR code up after you leave, right? So if they experience loss again in the future, now instead of Googling restoration near me, oh, there's my restoration company, or a new family moves in. I guess this is my restoration company. That's right. And so now what restoration companies are doing, even for on the commercial side as well, is they're proactively getting these QR codes on property as fast as they can. Because, hey, ever experienced loss? I mean, I've got customers that have like, hey, ever experienced loss? Scan this QR code, take a video. They get pinged. You run it through AI. I've already seen your stuff. I'm sending the cavalry out right now, especially if you're not even the incumbent. If you're trying to steal business, like, hey, if they don't come out fast enough, why don't you scan my QR code and see how fast we come out for your commercial job?
Well, you just segued perfectly into my next question, which was how to use technology like this for sales and marketing. The QR code is kind of genius. So anything else you want to add in the sales and marketing journey? Because you did just touch on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is the journey, right? There's a race to claim property as fast as you can. Circle your favorite neighborhood, circle your favorite commercial area, and start sending your salespeople out or sending out marketing material. And people can put these magnets or stickers or however you want it with a QR code that says, hey, ever experienced loss? Get ahead of it. We're a very reactionary industry in restoration. Now it's time to get proactive. And especially if you start like, I don't win enough work, get ahead of it. People are going to have loss. It's going to happen. And just look at every neighborhood and every commercial industry where you want to work as future cash, but you got to go get ahead of that, teach your salespeople how to do that. And this is how I think sales and marketing is being won, well, it is being won this way because my customers are winning like this. So this is how an easy way to do it too.
Are some people using this to replace, are they doing additional photo documentation and 360, for example, on their own once they are scoping out the loss? Is there a difference between like this technology and what they would be doing to actually scope the loss?
No, you're going to still want to use some of the things for scoping the loss. You can use our stuff to help scope the loss, but I think some of the technology that's already out there is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to replace that. We're trying to enhance that or supplement it. If you're like, oh, this job's too small, I don't want to whip out all that stuff just to, document the loss. You can do that, with the lighter weight tool like what we've got.
Perfect. That makes sense. I was thinking about the reference point back to, we didn't make that mark on the wall, which is something obviously that 360 and some of the photo documentation tools are really good at identifying. And so that's what I kind of figured, but figured maybe.
But it will help out, right? If you're doing that virtual consult,
Yeah.
it's still taking all live video, and you can go back and go right back to where they said the issue was, and you can see the marks, and you can so you can see it, pause the video, take a photo of it, then you can zoom in on it, and then you can write on it, and you can even draw on it.
Big red arrows.
Right here, we didn't do that.
We did not do that. You're going to have to buy your own new fridge. We didn't do it.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do you have any real world examples from contractors that have used this and it's like, well, that was a freaking slam dunk?
Yes. So much so that we had a logo of one of our contractors on our website. They called me and they're like, James, you got to take down all our references to us. I was like, why? Did we do something wrong? They're like, no, we just, in the last 3 months, we booked $750,000 of work and I don't want anyone else to know about it.
That's really funny.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, it's been a game changer. And again, probably why you're seeing us there. We have a very low cancel rate, a very low churn rate, time to value. We crawl, walk, run. You'll start with the, text to connect first, then you'll start doing the QR codes, then you'll start doing all the AI. You're not, everything we've talked about today, you're not, now maybe you're super fast and you'll get it all done and you can do it in, a week or less. But a lot of folks just, you want to ease in as this new technology hits your doorstep. You don't want to overwhelm the staff. And we have folks on our team that are going to take care of you. They deal with nothing but restoration companies. And here's the workflows you want to start. So you don't have to really think too hard about this stuff, except for like, I think we want to try it.
That was my next question. Any tips for companies going into this that are like, my team is going to kill me if I bring one more ounce of new technology into this company because things have changed so fast. So how can you help kind of navigate the change management, encourage people to use it, and all of that. Any tips?
Yeah. It goes from wanting to murder you to hugs. This is what it is. I mean, new stuff, more stuff. No one wants to do that. But then when it covers their tuchus, when they didn't put the marks on the wall, they didn't have to drive out at 2 a.m. They won a bid. They didn't have to drive out and they went and got lunch instead with that hour they were going to drive. It goes from murder to kisses and hugs. It's just, that's how it is, you know? And some people get it right away. They're like, no, this is fantastic, no brainer. But for the staff members, I didn't sign up for that. It's one of those things where like, just give it a little bit of a go. And that said, we give 60-day money back guarantee. So if you're not happy, we'll give you all your money back. You gave it a college try, but the team revolted on you and they didn't do it. So, okay, got it. Maybe we'll get them in 6 months.
The team revolted on you. Is it something that people are using? I'm sure that it is, and this might be kind of a stupid question, but helping to help navigate on call, like the person who's on call could be using this technology instead. That whole jump out of bed analogy, it doesn't necessarily have to be the owner that's the one that has the answering power and the power to navigate these situations, right? It could be anybody
That could be anyone, and they can be sitting anywhere in the world.
sitting anywhere in the world.
Yep. I mean, I've got a lot of these 7 and 8-figure businesses now hiring folks overseas to do some of the 24/7 coverage. And it's not like what you think it is. Go ahead and find someone who knows what they're talking about. I mean, I had an 8-figure business. I would not want to compete with them in Seattle. 35 of their salespeople are in South Africa and their sales managers in Poland. And my mind is blown and they're kicking butt. So it's one of those things. Oh, and if you like to pay, now I'm all for keeping jobs in the States. Don't hurt me. But sometimes I can't find a person in the States to do the work. And I'm like, all right, well, I can't find anyone, but let me go overseas and they're a third of the cost and they show up on time and they're not complaining. They're saying thank you and they want more work. And I'm like, oh, that's new. But hey, you got to know your area, you got to know your team, and you got to know, when it's time to expand beyond your state border or your country's border.
I agree. There was a restorer in the room last week again at the event that I was at that was talking about how many of his team and a lot of his admin team are remote and far away, and that is what you can get is really truly amazing.
Oh yeah, I've had many owners say, James, my best employee is overseas.
Yeah.
And that's okay, and that's fine. And again, like if you're in need or if you want to watch your bottom line as well, you can remind the staff, like, hey, a couple of these folks I just hired allow you to get your Christmas bonus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It's this abundance mindset. Like there is enough work to go around, especially in the trades. Like we need more people, not fewer people. So, this is a way to it keeps it going round. So abundance mentality. Okay, anything that you want to add before we wrap it up? Where can people find you? How can they learn more? We can start there. You can find James's article on flash flooding on the CNR website. If you search for his name, you can also look for LiveSwitch on the CNR website and find some of their press releases that they've had lately, see what they're up to in the industry. Anything else before we close it out?
You're on LinkedIn. Check me out, James Hatfield, LiveSwitch, LiveSwitch. I'm happy to talk to anyone. Just reach out. I'll reach back. Go to liveswitch.com. You can book time with us. You can even ask for me if you want. My team's wonderful too. Just, any of us will take care of you. And do me a favor, before you even reach out to us or do any of that, like don't be a dead end. What's a dead end? You just heard from Michelle, probably even on other podcasts where she's probably not making millions of dollars from doing this. She's trying to help her industry. Would you please go and share this with maybe even just someone on your team, maybe post about it on your social, tell someone, just tell someone else, don't be dead end. And like, we're trying to enhance the industry. You don't even have to share this episode. Just share what Michelle's doing. She's really trying to make an impact. So do that first, then come see me second.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool.
And I like that. Don't be a dead end. That's a great, I've never heard somebody say it like that before, and that is true. And we need to not be dead ends for each other. We need to help keep the good things rolling. So thank you. I appreciate that, James. Thank you for being on the show and sharing all of your expertise. Thank you for the article that you wrote. I look forward to hopefully catching up with you, hopefully at some shows in 2026.
Yep. We're here, there, and everywhere, but we're in so many industries. You can't believe it. We're literally everywhere. So, but I look forward to meeting you, Michelle.
Awesome. Thanks, James. Have a good one.
For more restoration today and the latest news, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, and find the latest episodes of the Restoration Today podcast on your favorite podcasting platform.